All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It is starting, unfortunately, our potential severe weather event for North Texas. We just had one on Wednesday, and so we're going to have to go through another one here. But again, crossing fingers that a lot of this will be south of us, but let's get right into it. As you can see, Severe Thunderstorm Watch in effect until 8 p.m. for North Texas. The main threats are hail up to 2 inches in diameter, wind gusts 70 miles an hour. So not really a tornado threat for us, but not totally out of the question. That's going to be more south of us. I'll talk about that in just a second. So again, National Weather Service just issued a severe thunderstorm watch until 8 p.m. for our area, Dallas-Fort Worth, North Texas. The hazards: hail 2 inch in diameter size, up to 2 inches in diameter size, wind gusts 70 miles an hour. Hopefully we won't see a lot of that, but we could. Now, as far as the actual tornado watch, that is a little bit further south of Dallas-Fort Worth. So the tornado watch does not include Dallas-Fort Worth, but basically Hillsborough south. So it's Waco and Killeen, just south of Corsicana. That area, Temple, and back toward the southwest is something that is under the tornado watch. And again, until 8 o'clock, tornadoes possible there. And not ironically, but unfortunately, there's already a tornado warning. I'll show you that in a second. For southwest of us, tornado's already been confirmed on the ground, and this storm is not that old. It's probably 30 minutes old. So as I feared earlier this morning, is that we're going to see bad weather south of us, and we could see some offshoots of that as we go into the afternoon hours and early evening hours. Now, the one saving grace we have for tonight is that once this system kind of moves through, then we're done. So that's good. So it won't be all night thing, maybe 7, 8 o'clock. All right, let's see if I can put the radar up here. All right, there we go. So as you can see, we have a tornado warning already. And again, this is not Dallas-Fort Worth. This is west-southwest of Hamilton. So if you do know anybody in that area, just shoot them a text. Tell them, hey, bad weather's coming your way. And we'll zoom in on this one here. So again, this is west-southwest of Hamilton. Let's put the velocity mode on there. Yeah, it's kind of far away from the radar, but you do see some rotation right about there. Now, again, it's a little misleading because it's so far away from the radar. But looking at the reports, definitely a tornado on the ground. So again, if you know anybody that lives in Hamilton, take cover immediately. All right, so let's zoom back out here. All right, so what does this all mean for us? So I'm going to go back to my slides here and kind of give you a graphic visual of this. Okay, so this is a risk area at level 3, which is the orange. That's the enhanced risk. If you are really astute, you'll notice that that's shrunk a little bit to the south from what it was this morning. All of Dallas-Fort Worth this morning was in the enhanced risk area. Right now, we're still technically in it, but most of it is shifted to the south, so we're not quite as all-encompassing in the enhanced risk area. Doesn't mean a whole lot. It's a line on a map, but again, it's a little bit encouraging for Dallas-Fort Worth. That's why you see the tornado watch, or the severe thunderstorm watch for us, and not the tornado watch, because again, unfortunately, already there's a tornado on the ground. So there's a little bit more detail as far as the threats. So in the purple, pink, that's the greatest potential for tornadoes. We see a tornado right now on the ground. Baseball-sized hail, 75-mile-an-hour wind gust. So Hillsborough, Waco, down that way. Unfortunately, the same areas that saw that on Wednesday would see the biggest threat for the really nasty weather. So you see that kind of brown shading. So that's kind of buffs up to the southern part of Dallas-Fort Worth, and then the yellow is most of Dallas-Fort Worth and north, and that's the large hail threat. Don't want to see any hail, of course, but they're thinking it's not going to be anything bigger than golf ball, but or maybe a little bit more, 2 inches. But hopefully that's isolated, and hopefully we won't see any of that in North Texas, but we definitely got a chance. So that's something we got to watch out for. And then this is again a very wide, expansive area of enhanced risk down the I-35 corridor. So again, Waco, Austin, San Antonio. If you know people that live anywhere in that corridor, have them be aware of the weather today. The tornado risk, Storm Prediction Center has nailed it so far. So that brown area is where we have the tornado on the ground right now. So so far that's what we're looking at. The tornado risk would be south and southwest of Metroplex. Hopefully that will stay that way. I really think that'll be the case. The severe hail outlook, and as I've always said, you don't see this too often. You have a 30% risk in red. The hatched area is, again, it's a 10% chance of seeing 2-inch hail in diameter or greater. Wide swath of that. Again, basically the I-35 corridor. So if you know anybody that lives on the I-35 corridor, that's, they have a hail threat today, which unfortunately includes Dallas-Fort Worth. Now, the other aspect of the system is that the wind, as I talked about this morning, eventually these storms will congeal into a line, and it'll squall line. It'll probably be rather severe squall lines. So that's where the wind threat is. And again, that's why you see this hatched area of winds greater than 75 miles an hour. So most of that will probably be south of us, but we're right on the edge. And like I talked about this morning, it's something that we're right on the edge of the really, really bad stuff. So things can change. It doesn't take much of a deviation for us to be back in the bad stuff. All right, so let's go back to the radar. Kind of give you an idea of what we got here. All right, so some of the thoughts is, and there's a reason that the tornado watch is south of us and we're in the severe thunderstorm watch. I'll try to illustrate this a little bit. So roughly, the tornado watch is along this line and south, and as you can see, it is very well warranted because of, we already have a tornado on the ground. Everything north of that line in the yellow outline boxes is a severe thunderstorm watch. Now, why do we have the difference? Well, in essence, down here, the atmosphere is a little bit more unstable, as you can tell. So a little warmer, haven't had as many clouds as we've had today, and just a lot of factors in the atmosphere that makes tornadoes very possible, which, of course, they're already happening. So within this area south of DFW. Now, the area north, what we're thinking is that when these storms get going, any storms that form somewhere in this area, these storms will tend to split. And we've talked about splitting supercells before. And so in general, what happens is these supercells that ultimately split, let me start over here. So let me zoom in on this one, and I'll kind of give you an idea what, and this may already be happening. So this storm right here, and again, just emphasize, so here's the parent storm right here. And we may start seeing a split already. We'll have to see what happens with this. But, so this storm, if it does end up splitting, this storm will kind of want to go this way, and it'll have the tornado threat east-southeast, a right mover, if you will. If this storm gets going, it's a left mover from the mean, and it's going to start going this way. So those tend to be hail producers. These tend to be tornado producers. That's not always a hard and fast rule, but that's what happens a lot of times. So the left moving supercells is what we have to watch out for in North Texas, because that's what's going to get us, if it does get us. So if we zoom back out, that's the concern, and that's why we have a severe thunderstorm watch, because the thought is that if these storms, what we're going to have to watch out for is storms in this general area in the next hour or two. If we see development there, then again, I think there'll still be splitting supercells, and then anything that splits would be coming this way if it formed up in that area, and that's what we have to watch out for. So obviously we could get storms here. The further north you go in general is the less threat you have. Not a hard and fast rule, but it's something that we definitely got to watch out for, because these left splitters, as we call them, typically contain hail, and that's why the Storm Prediction Center put out the Severe Thunderstorm Watch for 2-inch hail and up to 2 inches in diameter hail, because that's most likely what we'd see. And we could see wind gusts to 70 miles an hour with these storms. Probably wouldn't see tornadoes, but again, if you're under a thunderstorm that has 2-inch hail and 70 mile an hour winds, could be just as bad. So that's why we have to be vigilant the rest of the day. Now, having said all that, nothing to be concerned about at the moment. If you're watching this later, it's about 1:45 right now. So the next hour or 2 hours is what we definitely want to be aware of. So I think if you have plans between now and 3 o'clock, you're probably going to be fine. I would hopefully we could extend that to 4 o'clock. After that, it might get dicey, because I think we're going to see thunderstorms develop close enough to Dallas-Fort Worth and move our way to where we're going to have some issues for some people, hopefully not a lot of people. So that's what we got to deal with. All right, so let's see if I can pull this up here. I want to see what the satellite picture looks like. There we go. All right, so I'm going to refresh this, and you're going to see pretty much explosive thunderstorm development there at the end. And again, I don't have my highlighter here, but right here. And so that's, again, anything north of this is, we're going to have to watch for the splitting supercells. So just getting started. So nothing, nothing too impressive on the satellite picture, but of course on the ground, we already had a reported tornado. So that's obviously something we got to keep an eye on. All right, so with that, that's probably about it for now. So my thought is, again, between now and 3 o'clock, cross my fingers, probably going to be okay, but we're in an environment where a storm could pop really, really fast. And again, a good example of this is the tornado warning we have for that storm. That storm is probably 30 minutes old. So it may be 45 minutes now, but it just didn't take very long at all to produce a confirmed tornado. So that's why, these storms could pop pretty quick. So really from this point till about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, you just want to be aware because it could change really, really quickly. All right, so just want to check the comments real quick. Yeah, Misty, here we go again. Yeah, that's what I would say. Hey, B, what about Saxy? Yeah, so Saxy is kind of in with everybody else. We just got to watch storms that are left splitters and moving toward us, from the southwest is probably a good place to look. Right now we're fine. Hopefully we'll stay that way. But, again, it's just going to be a situation where we got to watch it very, very closely. That is for sure. All right. So, yeah, Misty, you're not in the watch yet. So you probably will be later, but you're not in there yet. So that's actually a good sign. And I will say this, Misty, because you're a little further east, is that this is kind of a narrow corridor of instability. So you'll see that as these storms go east, I think I'm crossing my fingers for you, Misty. I think when the squall line forms, I think most of the worst would be south of you. Got my fingers crossed, so we'll see. Hey, Lori, ETA for Saxy-ish. Yeah, that's the key. So if we see thunderstorms that pop to the southwest of us that move toward us, I would probably say, again, unless something pops sooner than we think, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. I know that's a real general time frame, but right now, until we see these storms form, it's really hard to say. But if you split the difference, 5 o'clock. Hey, John, playing the colony tonight. Oh, goodness. Yes, I would definitely bring a tarp for drums. And maybe some other protective equipment. Hopefully you won't need it, but yeah, that's, well, you are at least you're further north, so that's good. You're not going south. All right. So with that, I think that's, I don't see any other comments. As always, I'll look for the comments after I sign off here. But again, let me put the watches and warnings back up real quick here. Let's see. Fade this over. Okay. So again, if you're just joining us, about to wrap it up, but Severe Thunderstorm Watch until 8 o'clock for all of North Texas. The hazards: hail up to 2 inches in diameter, wind 70 miles an hour. And then if you know people that live a little bit further south, that's where the tornado watch is, also till 8 o'clock. Few tornadoes possible. We've already seen one, so they're not just possible. They've happened. And then hail up to 3 inches in diameter down there. Not good. And winds up to 75 miles an hour. Probably a little bit later on when we get the squall line kind of more fully developed, and it's early in the process for that. So again, Severe Thunderstorm Watch for us until 8. Tornado Watch for people south of us until 8. I'm going to stay on top of it. And as always, I'm watching the weather so you don't have to. We'll put one more radar back up here, and we'll take a look at nothing so far. I hope it stays that way. And again, you can see the tornado on the ground just west of Hamilton. So again, if you know anybody out that way, let them know ASAP. All right. Well, thank you for watching. I appreciate everybody. I'm going to stay on top of it for you, and we'll probably be talking again. Hope everyone has a great afternoon, and we'll talk to you soon.